Welcome, welcome, my friends. It's a pleasure to be with you here in our very first live together in AI Creatives Connect. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys, and I want to say a huge thank you to all of you who have come through over the past number of days and you have shared your stories. You've shared where you are in the process. I really appreciate it. I wanted you to know that we've got the room open for you to call in if you ever want to say hi as we go through the content for today. Lots of you have been looking, you've been searching, you've been looking for support in your journey in music. Some of you are kind of new to the world of music and you've been met with resistance from the music elite who are challenging you. What makes you think you have the right to create music? You don't even know a C sharp from a D. I know. And just understand that a lot of people are passionate about their art. They're passionate about their music. They're passionate about their craft. But I want to make one thing extremely clear. Don't mistake sentiment for ethics. When it comes to creating ethically as a musician, there's a difference, right? This is where Picasso's statement of good artists copy and great artists steal may not apply. It may not apply because in this world of AI, it's already very sensitive. So my charge to anyone using AI is to use it responsibly, use it ethically. If you are a seasoned musician and you're using these tools, you know what to do. You know the rules. If you're not really a seasoned musician and you're just getting into the world, I encourage you as much as possible to be innovative. Don't try to copy someone else's music to the point you're getting their voice, you're getting their instruments. You gotta be careful. Don't do that. I would suggest, even if like you're new, explore what you are looking to hear. You get what I'm saying? A friend of mine said, "Oh, I wish I could hear this group and this group and this person collaborate." Use your imagination and come up with something. You know what I'm saying? So that is a very important point. There have been a lot of people come through offering a lot of support, and I appreciate that. And I want to let you know, if you want to say hi, just go ahead. We've got the room open. We've got the phones showing up on the screen. So if you are a subscriber and you dial in to 667-770-1523 and you put in the participant code 684534, which I've put in the chat, you will be able to dial in. I'll see you here. I'll unmute you and we can have some conversation together. Okay? All right. So with that said, my friends, what we're really going to do tonight is just talk about the future. And, you're free to join me in the debate. When you come through, I will see you and let you in if you join to have the discussion with me. But for now, I just want to talk a little bit about the world of AI in music. Oh, and of course, you can definitely chat into the chat box. So we got some chats in. Sarah, thank you for coming through, Sarah. Sarah says, let's see, hang on a second, let me make sure. We've got the, all right, so Sarah says, great topic to discuss. Sarah says, I think AI is going to be everywhere in art and music. So we might as well embrace it. We might as well embrace it. I agree. Instead of feeling threatened by it. That's a great point of view. And that's how a lot of us feel. It's not that we're bad. People look at us, we're like the misfits. Have you watched the X-Men? Now, we are like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants because they're looking at people who use AI in music remotely as the devil. And that's a wrong posture. We're not the devil. We're passionate about expressing ourselves. Since when did expressing yourself become a sin? Expressing your ideas, your emotions, and you find a conduit and a channel, and here come the skeptics and say, well, you can't do that. You're changing the sanctity of art. Not everything created by AI is created without a human in the loop. We're the humans in the loop. Think about it. Photoshop. I don't know if you folks had dabbled into Photoshop in worlds gone by. A lot of folks today don't even know what Photoshop is. But before the canvas of this world, Photoshop existed. What about just good old painting, right? I grew up in an art household. My mom is a renowned artist. She draws portraits. She used to draw and paint portraits and stuff. And I grew up in an art environment. It would be foolish to say, well, if you're not sticking to just drawing people with oil and canvas, you're spoiling the profession. Wouldn't that be so dumb? But that is what people thought when the camera was invented. They thought, oh, there's not going to be any work for the painters anymore. They're very myopic viewpoints. What I would encourage any skeptic to do is to have healthy debate. You know what I don't like about the skeptics? They try to push their narrative on you so heavy with insults. You know, they try to make you feel like you're worthless, like you're a sellout, like you sold your soul. That's how they try to make us feel. But going back to Sarah's point, no. Deal with it. Another thing that people forget is that there's so many governments in the world. You know, having lived in various continents, I see people just stuck on one continent. They're just fixated on, well, I live in the United States of America and this is bad for us. You're forgetting that there are many other countries. And the US government know that if people are marginalized in AI, we will fall behind in so many other areas. So instead of closing AI off and saying, well, you can only use it for tech, I don't think that's how things are going to play out, as Sarah is very correctly alluding to. We have our friend Colors Vary Productions. Greetings from Montreal. Greetings, my friend. How is it over there? Are people warming up to AI, or are they still in a closed black box system in terms of their mentality? Let me know what you think. Oh, Sarah in London. Awesome. Oh, my stomping ground. Very nice. No wonder you sound so sensible. Okay. I'm biased, obviously. Born in Croydon, Londoner. That's my stomping ground. You might catch a few of my snippets, my trips round about London. Okay. Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike from Atlanta. How you doing, Mr. Mike? Thank you very much for chatting in. I saw your website, your YouTube page. And what do you use for your audio? Because your audio sounds very clean. I quite liked the audio I heard. And I know you take it into a DAW, but I was wondering. Drop a link if you will, because this is where we share and connect. So Mr. Mike, if you want to drop that link to your YouTube page, and everyone else, if you have creations that you want to share with the world, I'm encouraging you to drop them in the chat. This is our creative spot. And honestly, if no one else listens to us, we will listen to ourselves. We will appreciate ourselves. We'll listen to what we do, whether it's Murica, Udio, Suno. We will listen, and we will be very encouraged by what we have to say to each other. Because I know right now, some of you've been met with a lot of resistance. You've been called a sellout. We're not going to let that get to us. It's ridiculous. Okay. Oh, you use Audacity. I see. Okay. But the stems that you get, Mr. Mike, where do your stems come from? Do your stems come from any of the AI tools? Because what I was listening to, I could almost wager that wasn't Suno. But anyway, we'll keep talking about that for many more times to come, because Suno has a lot of expression for people who can express themselves. It has a lot of expression bandwidth. I was quite blown away when I was able to get so much expression out of Suno, because you know the way I use Suno is a little bit different from how other people use it. I do a lot of improvisation in Suno. So as I get an idea for a song, I'm improvising everything from the words, the chord changes, the melody, all that stuff. So whenever I hear someone come out with anything from AI that is remotely better than Suno in terms of clarity, I'm curious to know how did they do it. So You gotta share your secret sauce, Mr. Mike, when you get a moment. Okay. Who else wants to say hi? Has anyone jumped on the phone? I don't see anyone on the phone line. Okay. It's all good. I know for many of us, especially those of us in Europe and the United States, it's kind of late. Kind of late. Mr. Mike says, "Oh, Suno, wow. You usually regenerate your song several times and tweak the stems. How do you clean your audio? I'm curious to know how you clean your audio up. Do you use noise reduction plugins? Thank you. Just chat into us. Let us know how you do it because you see, Suno has this underlying hiss, and I kind of talked about it. It comes up a lot in the drums. And when you go to some of the other instruments, it's there. And the only way around it, as Mr. Mike is saying, you got to clean that stuff up. And it can be very painstaking. You see, this is why when people say there's no creativity in using AI, I just laugh. There is creativity in using it, as Mr. Mike is alluding to. He got to clean up his stems and put them in a DAW and do all sorts of manipulations. So that is for sure. Let's change gears and jump into what I have for today. It's going to be very brief, like I said, but I want us to talk about the future of AI in music. Please put in all your thoughts. We also have a Mentimeter. For those of you who know what a Mentimeter is, the Mentimeter is where we share ideas. So what's your biggest hope or fear when it comes to using AI in your creative process? Just bring out your phone, snap that QR code, and we're going to form a word cloud, and we're just going to be honest and share our opinions. And at the end of the stream, I will show you what we all came up with, because I did have some reservations in the very beginning of using AI. My AI journey in music actually started around 2017. So my mastering engineer was getting to the end of his run, and he felt like, well, people are pivoting to other things. So around that time, he wasn't available to mix any of my work. And then I started looking into using some automated tools, and that's how the discussion of LaNDA came up. And when LaNDA came up, I gave it a run, and I realized, wow, okay, it's not that bad. There's one thing that LaNDA lacks, and that is the widening process. I got to do that outside of LaNDA. Other than that, LaNDA does a very good job. So I started using AI in music around 2017. So at first I was like, can it really do anything half as good? Gave it a run and realized it wasn't bad. You do have to put a human in the loop at all times, because sometimes things just go totally south, and you have to be that human in the loop. All right. So my friends, very quickly before we get off our call today, the future of AI in music, that's what we're talking about today. What do you think about the future of AI in music and the resistance? Random thoughts, random ideas. I really want to hear from you folks. And to clarify, the reason why we're here, it's a space for curious, excited, and cautious creators. It's for us to lead AI with intention, ethics, and soul. You got to still have that soul, that human being in the loop. So I'm curious to know, what's your biggest hope or fear when it comes to using AI? Initially, I was concerned that I wouldn't get good output or creative output until, my friends, when I realized that Suno not only had the ability to upload audio, but the ability to record audio at the spur of the moment directly from my keyboard with voice, chordal changes. My mind was blown. I understood the assignment. It was like Suno had been living in my head because what they came out with, I was able to immediately gravitate towards it, play it, mold it, adapt it, get what I wanted out of it. And Suno, if you folks are watching, well done. But there's more. You need to invite me to tell you. You need to invite me, because the way I use Suno is very different, and I actually haven't revealed the full way I use Suno. I use it in a very unconventional way, and I get great results, humanistic results. A human in the loop. It's like Suno was listening to what I've been thinking for the past few years. The human in the loop. It's like they've given it to you on a platter. So much control. You can put in your audio. You can use the slider to determine how much audio goes in. You can determine the lyrics before you come. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I don't work for them. I know nobody there, but I love the tool. I love the tool, I tell you. Mr. Mike said, I have a noise production plugin. Ah, no, noise reduction. Okay. And Suno. Yeah. Suno's very, very noisy. Marcus, welcome to the party. Marcus said, do you consider Band in a Box an AI tool? I haven't used Band in a Box. Can you drop me a link so that I can check it out? I've never used it, not aware of it, but I'd love to check it out for sure. Yeah. All right. So, as far as your biggest hope or fear about AI, drop me a comment. Let me know. And based on what we've been discussing so far, based on Sarah's comment and many others, Mr. Mike, the real danger isn't AI, it's passivity. It's that person who says, well, I guess I'll just do nothing, I'll just sit on the sidelines. Or that person who says, I'll just use AI for everything. I use AI for the lyrics. I have no idea what the melody is. Even beginners, come on folks. Look, beginners, are you new to Suno? If you're new to Suno, there's a magic audio button. Just look at some of my videos. There's a magic audio button that lets you hum. Anything, just hum a tune. It's okay if it's off key. But passivity is the biggest problem. Being passive and not being aggressive. You got to be aggressive with the AI tool. And what I mean by that is you got to iterate until you almost want to quit. Like 10 times iterating a song over and over and over and over. And sometimes I just call it a night because I'm fed up. I'm not getting what I want. And for you who are musicians, you got to be extremely opinionated about that sound. If you're not getting that sound, you're not getting that sound, period. And if you're not getting that sound, the game isn't over. You got to keep pressing. So I came out with a release today, the Neo Grit Trap Jazz. It took me hours upon hours upon hours upon hours to get what I wanted. And after I got what I wanted and I got all the different pieces of music together, I still had to take them into my DAW. I had to get the stems. I played some keys on some of the tracks. I had to spend time molding, crafting it. Someone said it well on this channel. They said it's like clay. You get the clay and you just mold the clay and you keep molding it. And sometimes you get a dollop of muck and you just put it aside and then you take it the next day and something good comes of it. So being passive is the problem. Being passive with AI. I want to challenge you, when you use AI, do at least 2 iterations. And I'm not just talking about the 2 things Suno or Udio gives you. I mean, like, do 2 different permutations with a lot of intent in your prompts. Like when you prompt, you want to prompt for melody, you want to prompt for harmony, you want to prompt for rhythm. You also could prompt for tempo. And you could also prompt for feel. Is it a gritty feel? What is the vocal texture like? You can describe all those things. And I know that there's some folks who use the easy way, which is, well, I guess I'll just ask GPT to create a prompt about all these things. I haven't gotten my best results doing that. My best results, like everything that's on my current release, was all handwritten by me. Like all the words, I didn't even bother using, what do you call it, autocorrect. I just had them warts and all, and I did a little bit of tidying up of the prompts, but I got the most natural output. And I've done this a couple of times on the last release I made, So I encourage you folks, don't be passive. You got to be aggressive with AI. Otherwise, it's like that. That kid that does a half-baked job. You got to keep going back. It's amazing. I don't know how much you've used GPT or any of these other tools, but when I use these tools, I ask it one question: what are you forgetting? And it says, "Oh, by the way, I remember that I didn't do. I should probably talk about this." I'm like, "Okay." So your default question to, beat AI into submission, because you're the human, you're still in charge. Never think AI is in charge. You're in charge. So you should always ask the question, if you're using GPT or Gemini, whatever, ask the question, what are you forgetting? Is that all you can do? Is that the best you can do? You're missing something. I always challenge it. It's as though I'm trying to get into its head. You know what I mean? So you got to do a lot of that. Don't be passive. You got to be an aggressive prompter. It's the aggressive prompters that get the best prompt. You drive the vision, right? Not the AI. Suno is great, but I've gotten absolute rubbish from Suno because my prompt may not have been as ideal. I've gotten absolute rubbish from Udio as well. And then I go back and I'm like, okay, this is a human error. This is not Udio error. This is human error. What can I do to get better? So what I would love to see from you, my friends, is some ideas. Chat into me. Where do you see the future going in music? Are we doomed? Like I got a user today saying that everything from AI is just rubbish. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Oh my goodness. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike said, you're spot on. With the right prompts, you can get Suno to do exactly what you envision. I tend to spend several hours. Wow, beautiful. Several hours a day creating one song. That's how to do it. Sarah says AI art or music is not going anywhere. Judging from how even the big companies suing Suno and Udio want part ownership of them. And you're totally right. And you know what, Sarah? It's a matter of time. These companies, let's be honest, some of them, they're greedy as hell. They're not thinking of the artist. They're thinking of themselves. They're thinking of their pockets. They're thinking, we want a piece of that pie. They ain't thinking about the artist. They ain't thinking about the streams the artist is losing. They're thinking about their pockets. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the artist should not be compensated fairly where appropriate, but a lot of these companies, they are looking to line their pockets with some of that AI dough. It reminds me of the universities. Remember when AI first came out and the colleges said, no, we're not going to allow AI in our colleges. You can't use AI. And then all of a sudden, within 2 seconds, they turned around and saying, oh, well, I guess we'll put out a course on AI and charge $5,000. Really? And then they're like, oh, it's okay. You can use AI. Just make sure that it's your own writing. You can use it for advice. Give me a break. These companies, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They want a piece of that pie. And that's exactly what Sarah is talking about. Yeah, they want part ownership. She says, my biggest hope is that the people who use AI to do good outnumber those who may want it. Yeah, honestly. And that's why we have this here, Sarah, so that we can help each other grow. We can help each other see what is coming around the bend, the blind alleys, and so on. So what we're going to talk about over the next number of weeks, we're going to talk about emerging applications of AI in music creation. Obviously, everyone knows Suno. Chat in some of the ones we might be missing. So Band in a Box. Marcus said Band in a Box. I need to check out Band in a Box. And there are many others, right? There's Lander, there's Udio, there's Murica, which I've not tried out. Oh, this one is going to shock you. And there is YouTube AI. Have you folks tried YouTube AI? Anyone tried YouTube AI for either video or audio? YouTube AI. Oh, Sarah says, even 11 Labs have gotten into AI music creation too. That's wild, Sarah. These folks, they don't leave money on the table. So 11 Labs, for those of you who don't know, is into using AI as voice talent. But, of course, it's going to go into anything you do with a voice, singing, and likely what goes along with singing. Marcus said, I like to explore film scoring using Suno because filmmakers often give very detailed descriptions. Absolutely. Danny Elfman, watch out. Marcus is coming for you, Danny. Moods and colors, absolutely. Colors of the music, wanted for scenes. That's exactly the kind of prompt Suno wants. You're right on the money. You're right on the money. And honestly, the thing about the AI for film, I can see a massive problem with it, just based on what I was talking to Mr. Mike about, in that the stems aren't, in my mind, they're not clean enough. It will give anyone using it a nightmare to put. It wouldn't. The quality right now, it needs a lot of cleaning up, like hours. And so you can imagine a tapestry of sound going on for hours. You're going to have hundreds and hundreds of just cleaning up. It's not, in my mind, it's not worth it. In my mind, I would rather just hire an orchestra. I would rather just put my ideas down onto some sheet music and give people to play, as opposed to trying to use Suno. But it's getting there. It's getting there. And I truly believe Suno can pull it off if only the audio was clean. And I know it's a matter of time. They're going to figure out how to clean it up and make the algorithm sensible, such that whatever UDO is doing, Suno needs to find out what, maybe I'm wondering, is there a difference in their technologies? There might be, because UDO is very, very clean compared to Suno. Now, people like Mr. Mike, who use the audio noise reduction plugin, yeah. And to that end, maybe using the plugin Mr. Mike is referring to will be a good place for low budget movies, those in the hundreds of thousands, few millions of dollars. It's not a bad idea. So some musician is going to take that idea and run with it. So thank you for sharing that idea, Marcus. That might be a good one. You should actually try it. Why don't you try it out? Maybe you can use the audit text, voice to text, speak your ideas, get them all, and then report back to the community. Let's know whether you were able to succeed in pulling that off. So when it comes to music, there's so many things to talk about. There's been transformations in the music industry driven by AI. There are many forms of resistance to AI in creative arts and music. We're going to talk about some of those, and the concept of balancing innovation and tradition in creative arts. This is going to be an ongoing series because the topics never change, right? The topics are usually, we have people who are using AI to make music and they're bad for society. Emerging applications of AI in music creation. What do we use AI for? Melody and harmony generation. I almost lost it. About 2 years ago, I asked GPT to give me a melody, a MIDI, right? I said, give me a MIDI file. And he gave me a melody, and he gave me a MIDI file. Actually, gave me one note. Can you imagine that? This is years back. It gave me one note, and I think I asked for it on a particular key, and it gave me what I was asking for on key. I'm like, wow. And that was before anything with all these music generators. So you could use AI for so many things: lyric assistance, creative process enhancement. The tools accelerate the creative process. Let's be honest. On this channel, I shared with you folks a song I wrote 30 years ago. 30 years ago. I couldn't believe it when the song just filtered into my head. I'm like, oh, I've done nothing with every day for 30 years. Why haven't I? How about making a difference with what you have? So I sang the song. I played the chords exactly as they were meant to be, and that song has probably 6 key changes at least, and like 7-part harmony. Other than my friends Take 6, very few people will be able to pull that off. And I decided I was going to give it a run, and I was shocked that the AI tool could understand how to build the melody and harmony around my chords, and it was actually able to decipher the words from what I was singing into Suno, you see. So the creative process greatly enhanced. I mean, it's just unbelievable what you can do with artificial intelligence when for 30 years a song sat in your archives. What about personalized music generation and adaptive soundtracks? AI systems can generate music customized to your unique taste, your preference. A lot of people don't like this. They think musicians should be the only ones wielding the magic wand. And, I beg to differ. That is not true. Anyone should be allowed to do whatever is legal. And it's totally legal for you. It's like saying to a kid, who told you you can have a piece of paper and crayons. No, it's dumb. It's dumb. It's just technology. It's just a tool. You know? What about adaptive soundtracks? Soundtracks dynamically adjust based on the user's context or interaction. That's where we're going with these things. And it's totally okay. It's just like your playlist. What's the difference, right? There's collaboration these days between human musicians and AI systems. I love collaborating. You might have seen me on my guitar playing to an AI generated avant-garde track. I mean, this is when Suno started blowing my mind. I mean, it understands avant-garde so well. And it was inspiring me to come up with lines I probably wouldn't have. So AI systems act as co-creators. They enhance human musicians' creativity, and they help in expanding musical possibilities. You folks know what I'm talking about, those of you who use these tools, because you do various iterations and you realize, wow, I never thought of that in a 6.8. I never thought of that in a 5.13 or something weird. And AI presents possibilities. It's a tool. What about innovative music creation? Collaboration fosters innovative environments where new musical ideas emerge from human AI synergy. You are the bigger ingredient. It's important you remember that. Never forget it. I don't care whether you know how to play an F sharp or a B flat. You are the bigger ingredient because you are the person behind it. You are in the director's seat. Oh my goodness. It reminds me of Simon. You tell me, does Simon play, and you know who I'm talking about, does Simon play a single instrument? No, but he has creative direction and opinion. You see, this is what a lot of people are missing when the music, what should I call them, the supposed musical elite come out and tell you, you know nothing, you shouldn't be using AI to create music. They forget that some of the greatest minds in music, they don't play instruments. There's someone coming at you and saying you don't even play an instrument, you shouldn't be allowed to create. That's dumb. Anyway, you get my point. AI in music production and mixing. It helps automate complex tasks, streamlining, automating, and you know, one of our subscribers said this. He said, I never use what comes out of Suno raw. And he's very correct. Don't use it raw. If you are on the call tonight and you have never heard of LANDR, I want to show you LANDR very quickly. This is LANDR. I'm going to put it on the screen. LANDR. And I'm also going to get my mix engineer. Hopefully I'll be able to convince him to come on the show, because he's not in the world of mixing very much anymore, but I'm going to try to get him on the show at some point. But one of the things I learned from him is you don't just put music out because you feel that you've gotten a good output from the music studio. Suno is like your music studio. You still need a mastering process. And just go to landr.com. And all you do is you hit mastering. If you want a new thing you're working on, just hit that, hit master. And if you have very little understanding of the process, mastering elevates the frequencies, balances out what needs to be, reduces the frequencies that are troublesome, and gives you a smooth commercial grade output. It's not enough to use Suno, my friends. Suno is just the beginning. So you got to think about the after production. And those of you who are in the business, you know, you got so many other tools that you can use on your desktop before going into LANDR. See, so for me, I use tools on my desktop to elevate, balance out, some plugins that are mastering plugins, and you just get a better output at the end of the day. So even though AI is used in Suno, don't forget the mastering process, because I could not believe how poor the quality was from Suno. And you know, I'm a Suno fan, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to mislead you, making you think that everything is from Suno and it's all good. No, it's not. I was doing a mix yesterday and I got all these stems, and as I'm going through them, I hear this horrible tape hiss, and then I'm able to locate it. I'm like, oh my goodness. So you mean if I hadn't gone through stem by stem, I would have a composite with this horrendous hiss on it? And that's what a lot of people get from their Suno output, you see. And Suno, they probably know this, which is why it costs 50 credits for you to get your stems. So don't scrimp on the dollars. If you need to spend more to get your stems, do it. Get your stems, take them into your DAW, do what you need to do. But as far as experimentation with novel effects, AI also enables you to do that. It can be a lot of fun. All right, going back to what we're talking about, we're going to get off the call very soon. Data-driven music recommendation and distribution, AI-powered personalization, data insights shape music distribution strategies to optimize reach and engagement. Hello, Spotify. Are you there? This is the world of Spotify. Okay, I was just taking a look to see if anyone had joined, but I don't see anyone, no takers tonight, so I guess we won't have any callers. But AI is all around us, all around us. There's so many more business models that are going to be enabled by AI. Content licensing, AI enables new licensing models for AI generated content. Before I got diverted, I was asking you, has anyone used the YouTube AI? I wonder what the skeptics will have to say about that. It's right there on your phone, so you might not have noticed it, but when you hit create, if you're doing a short, it comes up with it. I don't know if you folks have ever noticed it, but it's right there on your phone, and the output, I'm telling you, is, it can be a bit worrying for the skeptics, because they're going to say, why would you make this available for people? It shouldn't be allowed. There's a special, what do you call it, AI button that looks like that shiny diamond thing on the right when you get into shorts. I'm telling you, I was quite impressed with the quality, and it's cleaner, actually cleaner than Suno, I'll just say that, but quite impressive. So YouTube, they know what they're doing. And if you've used Flow or VO3, you also realize they're building in background music into the prompt. So if you prompt in VO, it gives you music as well, which is kind of wild. Have you folks tried that? It's quite impressive. All right, here's our final topic for the night: forms of resistance to AI in creative arts and music. Concerns about authenticity and artistic integrity. Critics debate if AI generated art can truly embody human artistic authenticity and emotional depth. And that's a question to be answered by everyone else. What do you think? What about the impact on human creativity? There are concerns that AI might diminish the value of traditional human creativity and personal expression. One of our users today brought out, I think Levi brought out a very important piece of history that all throughout the ages, whether it was the camera, whether it was the TV, whether it was moving from horse and buggy to cars, there had always been the people that don't want technology to move forward in a specific area. Even cameras. Think about it. So, back in the day, if you wanted to get your portrait, it had to be an artist drawing with oil or pastel or charcoal or something. But now, you just take a snap, enlarge it, frame it, put it on your wall. But has that hurt art? Of course it hasn't. There's still people who want the novelty of having their portraits done by a human. What about economical and ethical challenges? Now, this is a big one. The impact of automation threatening traditional artist jobs by performing creative tasks at scale and speed. There will always be the individual who doesn't know how to use AI to get what they want art-wise. And there will always be the organizations that prefer having a human do it, no matter how expensive it is. Now, will it take away the possibility of some people getting art jobs? Of course. I used to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars for art, right? The art that I showed in the beginning of this live, this one right here, this, back in the day, I would wait like weeks for this to be done. This was done in a matter of seconds. The whole animation and everything else. Now, even though someone who would have gotten that job didn't get it, it doesn't destroy the fact that people who want art done by other humans will still look for it. I want to challenge artists to ask the question, how can I use AI to be more efficient? Maybe I can use it in some ways to just up my efficiency, or maybe I can use it as a collaborative tool. AI generated art raises complex questions about who should be credited as the true author. I believe that if there's a human in the loop using AI as a tool, I believe that that person should be credited with, it's like a collaboration. What about copyright and compensation? Ensuring fair copyright protection and compensation for human artists. That's a critical topic that we talk about today. These are the challenges. What about movements advocating for human-centered creativity? By all means, let them exist. They should, right? There should be these movements to keep us grounded. Because we could be so to the far side of forgetting about the art itself. And I understand where a lot of these people are coming from. They're right. I have a passion for art as well. For those of you who do not know, let me just put this here right now. I actually have a system that I designed to help train people in music, right? Because I'm very passionate about the craft. So I set up philc.net with a music theory tutor that will teach you all the scales and all the keys, teach you minor scales, major scales, all of the diatonic chords, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I also have videos where I'm teaching others about music. This right here is a keyboard embedded into philc.net so that you can test out whether you are thinking of the key the right way. Or the worst key of all for me back in the day was B. But you don't have to guess, just look for B. There it is. It's all done for you. And then if you come down here, I have flashcards. So play A minor. Let me play a wrong note. And then let's click check answer. Wrong. And it shows you hit a wrong one, that's the right one. So you could put reveal answer and it shows you all the notes that you should have played. So I'm very passionate, which is why I put this site together to help people learn. So when people come at me and you and say, you don't care about music, you can let them know I care about music, but I also care about evolution of technology, because it is going to help people better understand. If we're so against AI, we then become inherently useless in some areas, which is pushing technology to make us better as humans. Finally, ethical AI integration, promoting responsible AI use, ensures technology supports rather than replaces human creativity. All right, my friends. Well, let me go back and see if we got any further chats. All right. Thank you very much for the chats. Mr. Mike says, agree with Marcus. Marcus says, in time, AI will figure how to improve on itself. You're very correct. As well as query and prompt itself. That is true. That's what agentic AI is all about. That's where it's going, isn't it? Colos Vari Production says, Refusion recently introduced Producer. Interesting, but can be complicated. You need, okay, I'll check that out. Thank you for the recommendation. Oh, you use Studio One. That's a good one. Yeah, very good one. I've had that on my desktop in the past. Okay. Colos Vari says, I have never used my phone to create anything. Yes. Using your phone, well, I have used my phone with Suno, but then I always have to go to the desktop because it's such a tiny little interface. It's not big enough. I need to see what I'm doing. I need to feel comfortable. All right, what else? Marcus says, as a musician, I often use Suno to transcribe from and recreate and vary ideas with almost all human instruments. like learning songs for, oh, interesting. Or take a Suno song to rehearsal. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Wow. That would be fun to do. Yeah. No copyrights needed this way. You're absolutely correct. That's a very profound thought. Great stuff. All right, my friends, we have been here over the past number of minutes talking about the world of AI. Let me make sure no one came through the phone line. Want to make sure I didn't miss nobody. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the meeting on the phone bridge. All right. Maybe we'll have some takers when everyone's awake. and you know, you don't have to come on camera. It's a phone. So next time, let's plan to do that. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Carlos Vara. Appreciate that. All right. Okay, my awesome friends, my AI colleagues, AI music colleagues, let's see what we can do to help push things forward. Any thoughts you have, any ideas you have, any epiphanies you have, let me know. I think one of my biggest epiphanies this week was understanding how I was going to prompt Suno go forward to get the very, very best and most human output for me. And I decided, yeah, I must have words, I must have harmony or chords, and I must have that melody, and I must have that beat as well. That not only am I going to, give it any old rhythm, I'm going to give it some more tasteful rhythms. So I go into my archives and my library, and I use what is in my library to prompt the tool. Like all of those loops, whether those I've created or those I've used. There's actually a previous album. I actually got one of my singles, and I couldn't believe the output I got. I said, this has got to make its way somewhere. Okay, so I encourage you to never stop experimenting, never stop trying things out. Try new doors, try new methods, and as we begin to share together, I know we're going to learn from each other. We're going to learn so much more. But going back to another cool thing I learned this week, one of my keyboard heroes, I learned that he had been dabbling into the world of artificial intelligence. And of course, people shut up where he's concerned because you know how the skeptics would say, well, you don't have the chops, you're a sellout, you're useless. You can't say that to this guy. You can't say that.
We can make you.
You can't say that to this guy because he is a force to be reckoned with on the keys. He is a wild man. I'm going to put this in here. I'm talking about Jordan Rudess. Check that link out. That guy's a wild man. I'm like, if Jordan can understand AI is relevant, because I know if I mention Grimes, people will have something to say about Grimes, even though she's well known. Or if I said anything about Timbaland, he has been painted as the evil one. So I'm not talking about those folks. I'm talking about Jordan Rudess. Do you know who Jordan is? Check him out, man. This guy's a beast. And if he could understand AI has its place, then case closed. Case closed. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. Appreciate you. Marcus says, yeah, your jazz fusion solo and improv sounds great. Thank you. Absolutely. I know. Yeah. If you let the entire band borrow from Suno ideas altogether. Absolutely. And the funny thing about what I do, I go back, I'm like, where did that come from? And I go back and I listen to the prompt. I'm like, well, I'll be. It was actually there. I didn't even know what I played, but Suno took what I played, put it in the context of bass, drums, and vocals. The chordal structure was already there. And it's amazing how this thing listens and understands what you're trying to say or do. It's like it compensates for your ignorance of your own self. It truly is a partnership. All right, my friends, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming through. Keep dropping some comments in the chat when this is published, because this will be published. and we can keep having this conversation and dialogue go forward. All right. Thank you very much. I wish you all the very best in your journey in the world of AI. You take care, and bye for now.
Get up, sit up, stand up, yeah. Get up, do it, sit up, stand up, yeah. Get up, sit up, stand up, move up, yeah. Get up, stand up, move up, get up. Action, action. Get up, shut. What do you think of that style? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? You gonna think of that? What are you gonna do about that? What are you gonna do about that? Gotta do it, gotta make it happen, gotta move it, gotta groove it. Now's the time to move it, yeah. Get going good, get going good, get going now. No turning back, gotta do it anyhow. Pedal to metal.
Got to make it Get up, sit up, stand up, get up, do it, sit up, stand up, get up, sit up, stand up, move up. Get up, stand up, move up, get up.